Welcome everybody, this is Jonathan with Fishing with Faith Outdoors, and it's been a while since I made a video like this, so we're going to do a fall, all fall, all the way up to the winter, go over some baits and when and where to use them, and y'all hang in there, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm glad that y'all tuned in. Thank y'all for y'all support, and I know that videos have been very sparse lately, but uh, just a lot going on right now, so but we're getting there. Um, It's been a tough year this year. But anyway, seems like a tough year everywhere, every year in it. Hopefully, this coming year will be a lot better. I can get out and do some stuff that I've been wanting to do. But anyway, let's jump in this video. So, first thing I want to go over, and it's coming into the fall time, so um, temperatures starting to drop, leaves are starting to change, and I'm not real familiar with the northern northern states or anywhere above up in North Georgia, anything. So I'm kind of relate everything here to Middle Georgia and what works for me in that type of thing. So this is my favorite time to fish. It's really it can be tough, just like any other time, really, because the keyed on small baits, certain size baits, just ponds and lakes, they act different. So Um, it just varies on the fishery and where you at that particular time, a day and that kind of thing. So what's great about this time of year, you don't have to get up super early in the morning because it's cooling down. And you can wait a little later to get up and go fishing. Um, Try to at least get out there for the sun gets high up. That way you can capitalize on that morning cool bite where they're chasing bait and stuff. But as the time goes on, here in Georgia, mid Georgia, October really ain't fall until about the end of October. That's when fall around here kind of starts kicking in a little better. So going into November and December, our fall time really is really good then. Um, no, excuse me. December can start getting that transition of the winter. A lot cooler nights and that kind of thing. Um, More cold during the day, so that'll kind of affect whether it's still going to be, between that fall and winter time transition there. Because down here it doesn't get like it does maybe Virginia, Vermont, Minnesota, that kind of thing. You know, down here we've had pool parties in December. Okay, so all right, so enough of that. Yep. So I'll just give you an idea on that deal. So, what's up, man? Huh? All right, hang on a minute. There you go. Make sure there ain't no spideys in there, huh? Nope, I don't see none. Here you go. All right, so one of my favorite baits, and this is one that I haven't used a whole lot in the fall, but I'm going to start doing it because I know a lot of people's talked about it, is a buzz bait. And let's see, and I know I go over buzz bait, so I'm going to keep it kind of short because I know I go over buzz bait quite a bit. But here we go. So more particularly, how my talking is. I can't talk right sometimes. There we go. Is It's a white and a chrome. So they'll start, busting in them bait fish. So you can start throwing these around in the shallow areas in the mornings and afternoons or the midday. All depends on the weather. If it's cloudy, it's kind of, if it's cloudy over day, shoot, go for this. Or you see them busting on shad and stuff up shallow, go for this. So a white would be mainly what I will go to this time of year. Chasing bait fish, white and white blade or cloudy conditions, white or daytime. But this right here be my most used. It will be this chrome blade, especially in the cloudy days. It'll catch that light and it'll gleam that light. And this is a knocking one by Strike King. It hits the top of that head, so you get those kind of varied styles that make a little clacking noise. And this is the G-Man Swindles, Garrel Swindles signature for Buckeye lures, and this is his. I like this one. It's got a good squeak to it right out the box. It really does a good job. In the areas I would throw this around docks, like I said, busting up shallow around the banks, brush piles, sticking out of water, anything, anything in the water, around the water, lay downs, that kind of deal. So that's where I will throw this and see if you can generate a bite or two with the buzz bait. So that's one way of catching them this fall that I'm going to definitely be doing more of and see what it produces. All right, so the next bait I want to talk about is another topwater. It's generally widely used, but it's I'm not going to talk a whole bunch about it because it's a whopper plopper. So basically the same deal with the buzz bait, but this is more topwater generated or orinated, I should say. So whopper plopper. So definitely keep that in mind. Spooks, definitely a spook. Throw that when they're busting out busting on shad, and sling that out there and walk the dog with that joker right there, and you can probably generate a bite or two. Let's see. So another hook bait. Let's not forget about our rattle traps. This time of year, rattle traps is a producer. You got a silent one. This is the Minky Silent. I love this little rascal. And this, standard rattle, Bill Lewis. Throw it out there, reel it, pause, reel it, pause, reel it, pause. Really ain't got to get a whole lot fancy with it. You can try different retrieves with them if you like to. But another thing I like doing with the rattle traps or lipless crankbaits, you can call them, is yo-yo them off the bottom. You can do that too. I like doing it when it gets a little colder, when the fish more oriented to the bottom. But you can do that in these shallow areas where they're busting on shad, and you can throw out there in that school, let it fall to the bottom, and yo-yo it like it's a wounded fish. And you can probably get a bite that way as well. One I want to talk about, I don't throw a whole bunch of crankbaits, but is this guy. I haven't tried it in the fall. I definitely want to try it this year in the fall, especially, the fish start pushing up shallow and all. This is the hybrid hunter, and it's got that funky bill on it. It dives. This is the junior, so it'll go about 2 foot, I guess, 2 to 3 foot. Throw this right here around the banks, lay downs, right over top of brush piles, that kind of stuff in shallow areas. And then you got a bigger one that's the regular size, and I think it gets down to like 3 or 4 foot, somewhere around in there. But definitely give this a try this fall. Like I said, keep it shad ordinated. That way you do. Now, if you're in a pond, closest to bluegill color as you can, oranges. I don't know, will orange work this time of year? I don't know, it might, but so it gives you an idea on that deal. Like I said, just throw it out there and just reel it in. Pause, reel. It's got a good hunting action. Let it bump into stuff. You don't want to hit heavy cover, but it's got this bill, bump into rocks, sparse timber and that kind of thing, and let it deflect off that. You probably generate a bite with that rascal. All right, so square bills. Your square bills and your mid divers will be a good factor this year or in the fall. The shad colors. This is silent. This is the bomber. It's got a little rattle in it, so keep those in mind as well. Now, as far as soft plastics go, drag a worm like you've still been doing. Texas rig a crawfish. Drag a worm, and I wouldn't drag a real big one. Just something that's fairly small size to imitate those, bait fish that they're chasing. So I know one thing I did a couple years ago when I was fishing Dodge Lake down in Eastman, Georgia. I would throw out a shaky head when it was busting up real shallow. I would throw a shaky head out there, close to the schools I could possibly get, and just hopping on the bottom, and I would actually get bites. I got a 4-pounder one day doing that. It was busting up real shallow, and I, flipped my shaky head out there and hopped it a couple times, and boom, I got a 4-pounder doing that. So, I guess it imitates something on the bottom that, under that school of fish that, hey, there's an easy meal. So keep that in mind. I wouldn't give up on your plastics just yet. I know these bait fish and all imitate, you want to throw more moving baits and that kind of thing, but plastics will be a good factor. Let's see now. One more. And this will be a good one. And I get a lot of fish on it. Let's see, got that one, and let's get a War Eagle, because everybody uses a War Eagle, or it's more common, I should say. Here we go. We got a War Eagle. All right, so 3 different styles here, and you see they're all bait fish oriented. So this is the Terminator bait, the Terminator. So you got the, and it's small. You see how small the leaves are, and willow leaves on there. So it's more compact, small. This is something you probably want to throw more of in the schools of fish, and all, because they're pushing up the small balls of bait fish. So you know, small spinnerbait, compact, not real big old leaves. And the other spectrum is to go bigger to look different. Okay, so you can do that as well. Not necessarily knocking. Just stay out at mid range. That every day you will throw during the spring and summertime. Just go more either small or big. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, so there's your big one. This is a War Eagle. I'm gonna be start throwing this a lot because of the bait fish profile. It's got them big blades and now look different, and just something for them to key on. And I always put a trailer on mine. I know I don't have none on this, but a little paddle tail. You don't want nothing real big, just a little 3.5-inch paddle tail, 3-inch paddle tail, or the Zinco. I think that's how you pronounce it. The Gariano Zinco. It's got that little, rudder style tail on the back, and you put that on there as well. So this is the War Eagle spinnerbait, and then you got something that's looks wounded. It's got a little Colorado blade on here, and then that. So there's 2 different styles, 3 different styles you can throw. You see that small, compact. So they're using this one as well. Just throwing around different ones. I got acrylic. I got I love the spinnerbait. I know a lot of people don't really throw a spinnerbait a whole lot. Well, here you go. Here's a good one. This is something right here. This has got the hammered blade on it, and I'll probably take that bigger paddle tail off and put a smaller one on there. And you see it's all white, and it's got that bigger, I don't know, that's about a mid-size. It ain't quite much bigger than the other one, but, maybe that's the typical mid-size. They make bigger blades, but anyway, you get the idea. So just keep that in mind. Spinner baits. So same deal. Throw it around when schools fish, and throw it, uh, around brush, timber, lay downs, over brush piles, docks, and just they're pushing bait up, man. They get ready. They're feeding up, getting ready to feed up for the winter, or feeding up for the winter. So that fall bite is coming. It may already started in the northern states, but here in the southern part, it really ain't quite got there yet. There is some color change, but it ain't. You can see behind me, everything's still pretty much green. So once some sleeves really start turning and going in there, it's really going to start getting heated up. If it don't heat up before then, but um, sometimes when fish get fired up before it actually gets where it needs to be. So just get out there and be ready. You get out there in the morning, say 8 o'clock, 7, 8 o'clock, you get out there and you're seeing a bunch of fish just busting, or you're starting to pull out. Say you get there at 7 o'clock in the morning, like you usually do, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. Come 11 o'clock, you pulling up to the boat ramp and you seeing fish busting up shallow. It's time. It's time. So I hope this helps. I didn't go over a whole bunch of gear. I just keep it simple gear. Spinner baits, medium, heavy. 7.3 to 1, 6.30 to 1 gear ratio on my spinner baits. Medium, heavy. Uh, top water. The treble hook, anything treble hooks. If I throw a big treble hook, I put it on medium, heavy. But if it's a smaller treble hook, small treble hook style baits, medium, fast, medium fast, and that's about it, really. Shake your head, I throw it on a spinning reel, uh, that kind of deal. Crankbaits, medium, spinner baits, medium, heavy. So, all right. Well, that being said, I hope this helped. I hope this video again. I hope this helps going into this fall, and y'all just get out there, have fun, and try to wear yourself out too bad chasing them fish busting because it'll kind of drive you crazy trying to catch them out there like that. But just have fun with it, and and on to the next one. We'll see y'all. God bless.